7:51 here at the Big 550 KTRS. Paul Harris filling in for McGraw. This was a pretty good year for innovation in St. Louis, if you ask my next guest or any of the other people who are involved in bringing new businesses to town, particularly startups, tech startups, and others. Ginger Imster is the executive director of a group called Arch Grants, which is about to open up their global startup competition for 2015. Ginger, welcome to the Big 550.
Thank you, Paul.
What is Arch Grants? What do you do?
We're a nonprofit in the economic development space. We're really a point, we hope, of civic pride for St. Louis, and I say we hope because we're still a startup ourselves, so I think St. Louis is still getting to know us. But our intention is to really leverage the resources we have with two phenomenal entrepreneur programs, both at SLU and Washington University. We want to retain that talent and then be very strategic about attracting talent into our market that we know can be additive.
So this is about bringing in businesses that you think have a chance of succeeding but are still very small. In some cases, could be 2-3 men and women, right?
Absolutely. In fact, we're a little bit beyond idea stage, but they're still early stage businesses. And the idea is that they have a scalable business that we know can generate sales and can have national or international impact. And so we're really looking for businesses that can scale, great ideas, great innovators, great thinkers.
I don't think a lot of people know that St. Louis has actually grown considerably in the last few years with the Arch Grants and groups like Capital Innovators and Cultivation Capital and 630 and others, many of whom are based in the same space there on Washington Avenue.
Absolutely.
Downtown. You're bringing in businesses and helping them grow, but it's not a matter of just handing them a check, right?
It's not a matter of just handing them a check. And those other organizations you mentioned, we're so grateful they're here because largely Arch Grants can exist and thrive because of those other organizations. So we're essentially one of those points of entry into the startup community. We're a talent funnel into St. Louis, and in terms of both retaining the talent, as I said, locally, but also attracting it from outside the state. And then those other organizations come in and they also take our companies and may give them money, may give them mentorship. And then we have a number of other entrepreneur support organizations that we partner with, like I-10, that also are very, very supportive of making sure that the businesses that we fund are scalable and can, really reach their full potential. In addition to that, our pro bono service providers, I would be remiss if I didn't mention them because we have a very, very thoughtful group of accountants, lawyers, you name it, marketing professionals, all of whom are donating generously to help support these early stage businesses. And they do that on a pro bono basis for the year that they receive funding from Arch Grants.
Okay, so somebody has an idea, they've started something up, maybe they're running it as a small private business, a husband and wife, two fraternity brothers, two sorority sisters, two people who just met and had a great idea that they wanted to work on together.
We've had all of those, Paul.
I'm sure you have. So they come to you and they say, okay, give me some money.
Yeah, give
Not
me some
that
money.
easy, is it?
Well, no, there's a little bit of a competition, right? So we have, in the past 3 years, we've deployed $3.1 million to 55 companies in $50,000 increments, largely. So what we're kicking off tomorrow is the start of our fourth global startup competition. And those individuals, be they couples, fraternity brothers, sorority sisters, whatever they may be, are strongly encouraged to submit their proposal for consideration through our website, archgrants.org, and that application opens tomorrow. And then what we've done for 2015 is we've changed it so that the competition is ongoing year-round versus what it had been, which was just in the spring. And that'll allow us to see more companies, too. So entrepreneurs take heart because in the past, we would sort of cut it off in the spring, and in 2015, we're not going to do that. We'll have an announcement in the spring, an announcement in the fall, and it means that we'll be looking at talent all throughout the year. It also means for St. Louis, we're going to see upwards of 30% more companies come in and do their finalist pitches than we did in 2014. We saw 42 in 2014. We're expecting 60 in 2015.
I mentioned some of these other funding groups, venture capital groups or accelerators or whatever you want to call them. They take a piece of the company in the hopes that one of those companies will be the next Twitter or Facebook or whatever. Do you take a piece of them?
We don't take a piece. We ask them to take a stake in St. Louis, but we don't take a stake in them.
What does that mean, take a stake in St. Louis?
They have to be in St. Louis for the duration of their grant period, which is a 12-month period. And that's longer than many accelerators, which are a much shorter period of time. But we ask for a 12-month commitment, and we hope that over those 12 months, we demonstrate that St. Louis is a great place to live, work, and play, and that they can really build a viable business here. And St. Louis has many assets that make it a great place to start a business, not the least of which is the fact we're very capital efficient. efficient. They can start a business here. They can bootstrap here and not starve to death. And if they have a family, the family can find good schools, great affordable
We got a great
entertainment.
cost of living
We
here.
do. We have a great cost of living in a great city. And in spite of the national narrative, which has been challenging throughout 2014,
Yeah.
we know that we have a wonderful city, a wonderful river city, and it's worth the fight. And Arch Grants is, I hope, a part of many strategies that St. Louis is deploying to say to the rest of the world, this is a great city, and
have
we
the
want
companies,
great people.
Have the companies that you've previously funded over the last year or two, have they started to really grow and create jobs here?
We have. So, when you look at our most recent quarterly data, which we have as of basically October 1, they've created over 200 jobs, they've generated over $12 million in revenue, and they've attracted over $38 million in follow-on capital to grow their businesses. So yes, the strategy is working.
Okay, so you have a company that you think is going to grow, and what happens when it does start growing? And by the way, have you had any big successes in the last year? Do you have one where you go, this is going to be the one?
We have some really good successes on the way. I can't talk about some of them, right? Because this is a game of numbers for a lot of the entrepreneurs. So I can't get out in front of them and announce anything that they hold close to their vest.
Yep.
But yes, we have some great stories that are in the making. And I think several companies that have received excellent media for their growth include Food Essentials and Rovertown, certainly. And we're waiting for more. And there is definitely more good news to come, and it's a matter of time. But St. Louis has proven to be very committed to seeing these early stage businesses grow, and we're very grateful to our sponsors, and we're grateful to the broader community, and we're grateful to companies like Emerson and Monsanto that look at our entrepreneurs and say, come in and talk to us. We want to see what technologies you have and see if there aren't some things that we can do together.
I've only got a minute here, but in what fields are these entrepreneurs working now? Is it tech startup? Is it biotech? What is it?
It's all of the above, including also fashion, consumer goods, you name it. So we accept applications virtually for any number of types of businesses, so long as they're a for-profit model and it's a scalable business, and we don't do franchises.
Okay. If you're an entrepreneur and you want information,
Please go to archgrants.org.
there you go. There's the woman who runs it, the executive director of Arch Grants, Ginger Imster. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Thank you, Paul.
Have a happy and successful 2015.
May we all.
Yeah, may we all. 7:58 at the Big 550 KTR.